Oh, snap. We are live. Well, no, I like to say we're live because it adds a little bit of significance and it sounds cool. I'm recording this live. I'm personally live right now in the current present moment, but I guess we're not technically live on the air. Anyways, got a little sponsorship message to you guys coming at you from the folks at Gamma. Big deal this Friday. If you're watching this Friday, we got the Black Friday sale. It's pretty fire. Honestly, it's probably the best sale I've ever had over there that I've ever seen in my life. 30% off with code BLACK. That's a pretty fire deal. If Gamma costs you $35, 10% would save you $3.50. This is going to save you over $10, okay? That's a lot of money. That's $10 that you can go spend on anything else, realistically, that can be purchased with monetary value, as well as when you use this code, you get a free black shaker cup. All right, so that's a fire deal. Wanted to mention that because the folks over at Gamma Labs treat me so well. Gotta treat them well too. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys want to go check that out, like I said, it's a good opportunity, good time to buy it realistically, because like I said, 30% deals do not come around very often. Plus, you get the free shaker cup. So at GammaLabs.net or gfuel.com, you can purchase this and this deal goes with any tub of G Fuel. So that's that. We got the sellout process out of the way. I will now be able to buy 47 Lamborghinis, so that's great. I'm probably going to add those to my Lamborghini account anyways. You know, the sellout thing's a funny thing. Actually, I should say welcome to the podcast if I haven't already. Don't know what episode this is, and honestly, at this point, I don't really care. This is just this thing we do. We've had a whole lot of new subscribers come over, so if this is your first episode of the SmithSquad Podcast, welcome. This is a thing I do weekly where I talk about stuff, and it's very insightful sometimes, and it's supposed to be just nothing to do with video games or anything like that. It's just my outlet of the week where I just talk about stuff. It's got a small but loving following. All right, if you watch the SmithSquad Podcast, you know what the heck is up. All right, we talk about all kinds of stuff, deep stuff, funny stuff, great stuff. So if this is your first episode, congratulations, you just clicked on the best video of your life. The next hour should be really good, so sit back, grab some popcorn, maybe play some video games, or you do whatever the heck you want, because we got gameplay in the background. You freaks, you need entertainment. We need overstimulation. We all do it, okay? We're sitting in bed watching Netflix, texting, eating food. It's like we need to stimulate all our senses, or we're just not happy. And you know what happened to the days when you could just read a book? Okay, read a book. No. Wait, why am I saying that? I'm trying to like convince you to not listen to this. Wow, that's really stupid. Anyways, that's that. We got gameplay. That's all I wanted to say. But like I said, it's kind of funny how like you get so overstimulated. Like I don't know if you guys noticed, but I can't really watch TV anymore. I get bored. I get fidgety. I got to be doing something. Now, me personally, I like doing things that I find fun and I feel like are productive, and I don't know, I feel like that's a really bad, probably underlying problem with me, if that makes sense. Like a societal value, like that's really awesome that like if you're not doing work you feel bad, but underlying there's probably something bad going on there, because life's not about doing stuff. Now don't get me wrong, I only feel good if it's something I like. So like YouTube has always been a thing, like it's productive but it's fun. And it's something that I can always be going forwards on and making a better thing. But when it comes to something like school, well, I can't say the same. Something like the gym, you know what I mean? It's fun, but it's productive. I'm getting healthy, but I'm also moving forwards with something. I just like doing stuff that I enjoy, but I can also get better at. I guess realistically, maybe that's not such a bad thing. But it definitely like there's a balance to it, if that makes sense. I mean, I can't sit still. Does that make sense? I can't not be doing things. When I'm not doing something, I'm bored. I went to a hockey game last night. I haven't been to a hockey game in a while. It was business versus kinesiology at my school. The two faculties, they faced off, and business won, of course, because business is awesome. But the thing about it was I was sitting there for 2 hours, and I'm like, man, this is boring. Like, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. It's like I should be able to enjoy this, but I can't. It's like I want to. Like I was like I would a million times rather be live streaming right now. We're making a video. We're doing a SmithSquad podcast. And like I said, I don't know. Is that a good or a bad thing? Is that a good or a bad thing? A lot of people would argue, well, that's productive and you're going to make money. And I guess like that's a thing. But, you know, it's not about that. It's really not about that. And, you know, a funny thing, I've noticed that the more my channel has got successful, the least I care about YouTube, or the less I care about YouTube, the less I care about money, which is really weird because people say like, oh yeah, you know, like people were like, oh yeah, you must be making a lot of money from YouTube or whatever. And like, I'm like, I like, number one, like I said, I've talked about that before. I hate when people ask me that. I just don't like when people ask me about money in general. But that's an irrelevant topic. But the thing is like, it's like, the more like I remember like when I first went full time with YouTube, I was like, damn, this is awesome. Like I'm making money from this passion of mine, and it's awesome. And then as my channels become more successful, I don't care anymore. Like I realized that Black Ops 3 came out, and it was like this huge opportunity, and you know, views went up and subscribers went up and all this stuff. And when I was making videos, you know, I got a comment from someone. They're like, wow, yeah, like I bet you're making a lot of money. You're gonna make a lot of money this month. And I'm like, I guess, but like, it's not about that. It's really not about that anymore. It's not about that. Like it's like, you know, like I can make enough that I can pay all my expenses. So like that's all I care about. It's about the process. It's about the process. It's about finding something that you love and letting it kill you. Okay? And I can seriously say that YouTube has killed me this month, and I love it. When Black Ops 3 came out, so from Thursday to Sunday, there was not a thought in my head other than YouTube. And I've never experienced that in my life of like, the only thing that matters right now is YouTube and zombies and making videos. Because like, I was just like, I want to get the best videos out. I want to do this. And it was really cool. It was really cool to just have no other thoughts, no other worries in life. I had a midterm on Monday. I had things with, you know, people. Like, I was like, I don't care. I don't care. Sorry, I gotta do this thing. And it was like, I told everyone, I was like you're not gonna see me for the next like week. And it had happened, but it was so awesome to just give zero F's about anything. I'm sorry, zero fucks about anything. This is the Smith Squad Podcast. This is where we swear sometimes. I apologize if your parents are in the room and they're like, oh my God, what did he just say? But sometimes swearing is important because it's significant. You know, swearing is something that's really weird because I never thought about this, but when I was little, I was like, all right, you can't swear in front of adults because that's bad. And then adults, it's like, oh, you can't swear in front of kids. But at the end of the day, like, we all swear. So it's like why? Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of a weird thing. Now, like, obviously, like, if you're an adult, if you're a parent, you're like, oh, I don't want to hear my kid swearing. But it's like, at the same time, like, a lot of parents that say that swear. I don't know. It's just a weird idea. But anyways, what I'm saying is YouTube consumed my life for 4 days. And now YouTube consumes most of my life normally, so it's not a big deal. But just to have zero anything, zero cares about anything was really cool. I really enjoyed that. But that's something you can only do for short periods of time. You can only go all out on something that hard for short periods of time. Now I go, you know, YouTube's a thing, but I tried to do it for like another week after that, and it was like, oh my God, this is awesome, and then it just crashes. You can go you but at least for me, I noticed I can only go so hard for so long. Now, I'm recording this on a Wednesday, which is kind of weird, but I've got a girl is coming to shadow me for the next few days, starting tomorrow, and she wants to write an article about me. And she wants to write this article about my work habits and what I do in a typical day, and I thought that was really weird. So like, I started noticing like, what do I do in a typical day? And like, I realized like, I'm pretty damn lazy. Except when I'm not lazy, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how to explain that. But I've read this article actually, and I want to talk about this. We are all over the place today. If you're busy, you're doing something wrong. The surprisingly relaxed lives of successful people. I read this article and it made a lot of sense to me because it was like, the people that are really driving is not someone that's working 14 hours a day. Maybe, but probably. But it's about when you're doing whatever task you have to be doing, giving it your all. And it's not something you can really do 14 hours a day, if that makes sense. And that's a really, really funny thing I've noticed this year in university is I hear people say, oh, I just studied all day. I studied for 14 hours today. And I'm like, no, you didn't. You are lying. You are a blatant liar. You're probably lying to yourself. You did not study for 14 hours today. No one has ever studied for 14 hours ever. Okay? Not straight anyways. That's impossible. Your brain doesn't work like that. Unless you took a butt ton of Adderall. Maybe. I don't know. But what I'm saying is people equate hours put into something as amount achieved. And that is the most bullshit way of thinking about working hard I've ever heard in my life. People say, "Oh, I worked, I was in here, I was in the library for 10 hours, Oh, yeah, I worked 10 hours today." No, you didn't. You were in there, you were probably with other people, you talked. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to other people. Don't make yourself feel good just because you put a lot of hours into something. It's not about how many hours you put into something. It's about what you achieve in those hours. And if you're someone that wants to be successful and you want to achieve a lot, it's about being really efficient with your time. And I used to think efficient with your time meant organized. When people say, oh, it's about time management, I thought time management meant being organized. So like, all right, this time I'm going to do this, this time I'm going to do this, this time I'm going to do this. And that's a little bit, but it's much more so about just being able to when you're doing something, do it efficiently and still be able to do it to your best, right? So studying for 14 hours, I guarantee you that is some inefficient studying, okay? Realistically, I mean, I'm kind of in a weird boat because I've always been a really good student, and I feel like a lot of it, like, started as I was just, like, kind of naturally, like, a good student, and then because I was naturally a good student, I learned how to study well, and that kind of carried me through into university. But, like, it's still about the work you put in, but it's not about the hours you put in. And that's such a key thing that people like to inflate their ego and make themselves feel good because, well, I was at the library for 10 hours today. But it's not really about how long you were at the library for. More so, much more so, is what did you actually do at the library? Because, like I said, I'm not trying to, like, brag or anything. But I'm just saying, from a personal experience, I can't really study for more than about 2 hours. 2 hours of actual studying though, okay? And that's different. There's studying of, okay, I'm here, but then there's studying of really putting everyone like out of your mind, like not studying with other people, but just kind of putting people out of your mind and really looking down at the work you're doing and studying, okay? Because even in an hour's period, and this studying is a great example just because I know a lot of you guys are probably students, and I'm a student, and I'm around students, so it's what I see in my everyday. But I notice when, like, if I study with people, which I don't do often because it's just so distracting, I notice people, like of an hours of studying, it's like maybe 20 to 30 minutes of actual studying. So, like, within every minute or every 5 minutes, there's a lot of breaks of talking and looking and doing this. And like I said, people, like, they like to think like that full hour was spent studying when really it's like, every like 2 minutes you take a minute and talk to the person beside you. And it's like, you're number one, you're being so distracting. So like you're distracting yourself. So you get into it for 2 minutes and then you come out of it. And then now that kind of 2 minute buildup of focus is gone. You have to restart that process. And like what I'm getting at is I feel like it's not about the hours. And that's my main message here. It's not about the hours, but what you can do. If you were an employee or if you were an employer, would you want someone that can, well, see, this is the funny thing is this is how jobs work. We're not most people aren't paid on how much they can do. They're paid on how many hours they work. And that's the common thing I hear from people with jobs is like, yeah, I can get my work done in half the time, but I'm paid by the hour. So why would I work quick? Which is funny because, the boss values you on, all right, well, how many hours are you working today? How many hours did you put in? Now, for some things, that's definitely appropriate, but I feel like a lot of jobs is like, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever want to own like a company, but I just feel like there'd be a better way to go about doing it. Like sales commission, that's a perfect example. You get a commission, you get paid based on how much good work you do. right? If you could sell a lot of things, make a lot of money. And it's just such a bad idea of, oh, I worked for 10 hours today, so I'm good. If I worked for 1 hour and you worked for 10 hours, but we did the same, that the person that worked the 10 hours is going to be valued more because, well, they're really hard working, they're consistent. But not if you're just, on your phone and stuff. And it bothers me. It really bothers me, and it shouldn't bother me because it's not affecting me. But it's something that people need to realize, is that, you're not, like I said, if you're busy, you're doing something wrong. Because, like I said, I want to read this article because it's so controversial, but it's so much. All right, so this was a study. They looked at elites, or like musicians, elites, people in orchestras. So the average players, they discovered, spread their work throughout the day. So a graph included the paper, which shows the average time spent working versus the average waking hours of the day is essentially flat. Okay, so over their 12-hour period, right, they're just kind of working at it a bit. They're kind of working at it a bit, kind of working at it a bit. They're coming out of it, they're coming into it, and coming out of it and coming into it. The elite players, by contrast, consolidated their work into two well-defined periods. When you plot the average time spent working versus the hours of the day for these players, there are two peaks, one in the morning and one at the afternoon. So what these people do is they wake up and they start their day and they're like, all right, I don't know, let's say they practice for 4 hours. I'm going to practice for 4 hours, and for these 4 hours, I am practicing. There's no distractions. There's no BS in the room. I am practicing right now, and this is what I'm doing. And then you take a break, and you come out of it because you can't work these crazy long hours for super long periods of time. And then you go back into it later, and then you do kind of the same thing. Now, I've played instruments, and I can definitely say that is 100% logical, because it just, again, it's something that you can't come out into. You gotta divert. You gotta be a laser beam. You gotta focus all of that into it to achieve it, right? So consider, for example, sleep. The elite player slept an hour more per night than the average player. So that's another thing that was into it. Consider relaxation. The researchers asked the players to estimate how much time they dedicated each week to leisure activities. By this metric, the elite players were significantly more relaxed than the average players. Again, it's not about how many hours you put into things. It's about what you're doing in those hours. So I don't know. For me, it's kind of weird because, like, I'm a student, I'm a YouTuber, and I also like to exercise a lot. So I've got three things like I'm kind of doing. Like, those are my three main things. So my schedule is typically, I go to class in the morning, I go to the gym for about an hour, I come home and I do YouTube for a bit, and that's it. Like, this is the YouTube part right now. It's a Wednesday, so I come home, I do YouTube for a bit. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of going on with this a little bit too long, but I'm just saying, it's weird. But the other thing with scheduling is it is like a lot about. I think getting into a habit is really good, because I found when Black Ops 3 came out, I got so out of any schedule. Because it was just insanity for the first week. It was like trying to get out as many videos as I possibly can, and that's hard. That's not a schedule. And like I said, that what I was doing was not. It's not a long-term viable thing. Like, of just pure grinding every single day. You can't do it. You just can't do it. The other thing I kind of wanted to talk about, excuse me, is downtime. Is that leisure time? Because another thing I noticed with a lot of people, they're like, yeah, like I'm not going to go out this weekend because I'm going to study all weekend. And when I hear that, I'm like, again, it relates back into that, oh, you're going to work 12 hours all day and not get a whole much done. And that, to me, is really weird, because I'll hear someone, they say, I'm going to go out. And like I said, going out drinking is not the only thing, but for me, it's just, that's like a big leisure activity when you're in college. It's kind of, it's cheap for most people. You don't have a lot to do, so you just go to the bar, you have fun, you have a good night with your friends. It's completely whatever. And what I noticed was, like, when Black Ops 3 came out, I was like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna stop like having fun basically for the next month, because I'm just not gonna have time. I'm not gonna have time. And for the first bit, that was true, because like it was this super intense grind. But as it's kind of slowed up, everything's kind of back to normal. I mean, I have more work to do because I'm basically doing like 3 to 4 videos a day now. One for my second channel, trying to do double uploads for my main channel, plus live streams. So for me, it was like, yeah, like I'm just not going to have the time. And as like this was last weekend, you know, I'd been really grinding, and I went out on my friend's birthday, which was the day after Black Ops 3 came out. That was whatever. But after that, I didn't go out. And then this Saturday, I think it was, I decided to go out. Now, my original plan was I was like super tired and I had stuff to do, and I was like, man, like I can't go out right now. I got stuff to do. And like I say, going out is not the only thing here, but it's about having fun, right? It's about doing something that's fun. But randomly, my friend was like, hey, do you want to go to this party? I'm going to a party. Like, you can come along. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah. I started thinking about it. I was like, if I go out tonight, if I go to a party tonight, all right, let's think. I've worked all day, live streamed for 4 hours, done videos and stuff. If I go out today right now, how many hours of my 24 hours in a day is this going to take? Well, like an hour of like pre-drinking, probably be at the party for 2 hours max, probably be out for 2 hours, and then an hour of coming back and just hanging with friends. That's 4 hours, okay? 4 hours. But the thing is I was really like didn't want to do it, and I was like kind of like a last minute decision, like, you know what, like screw it, because I realized that 4 hours of enjoying my life is gonna recenter me, I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna have fun, I'm not gonna worry about this thing, and ultimately it's gonna recharge me for the better. But when you're gonna just do this thing of working all day and not really working hard and just kind of slowly going at it, it's just so efficient, and you don't have time to go out, and then it's like you don't achieve anything. It's just this awful mix of just not doing anything ever and not really working. And it's like you work so many hours, but you're not really working, and it just, I don't know. Like I said, like, this is the perspective that I'm seeing it from, and that's the thing. We all see the world through a different way. We all work at things differently. But the way I see it is like, why spend 8 hours on something doing it casually when you can get it done in 2, and then now you have way more time? And that's time management right there, 101. You know, you can write your paper and check your Facebook, and write your paper and check your Facebook, or you can just write the damn paper, get it over with, and now go do stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just rambling. But I think there is a very, very important need for downtime. Even when you're grinding. Actually, interesting, I was listening to another podcast I haven't listened to in a while, Painkiller already, and I heard one of the hosts, I want to say it was Woody's gamer tag. He was talking about he was talking about a guy who was talking about the need for like an intoxicant, using an intoxicant as a reward, which I thought was very interesting. Now, I think in the context he was talking is probably like booze mostly, maybe marijuana if that's your thing, but I never thought about it as like a reward system. And it was like he was talking about how, like, you know, some people will just use the reward system of like having a drink, having 10 drinks, and you're getting drunk without like the achievement. And like, I think that's definitely an important thing. Now, like I said, I don't think it has to be an intoxicant. I think it can be anything that you deem as fun and relaxing. But it's really interesting that just like, yeah, like I think there is a big merit in okay, if I get all my stuff done today, I can go hang out with my girlfriend, or I can hang out with my friends, or I can go to the club, or I can go skydiving, or whatever. I think there's a really like important need for the balance in life. And for me, I definitely do a lot in a day. I think I definitely do. Like I said, I make a lot of videos, I work out every day, and I do schoolwork a bit. So I don't know. I think I'm fairly productive. Not that matters, but for me, it's like, you know, I live a pretty full lifestyle. I'm not trying to say the word busy, because busy is a choice. I live a pretty full lifestyle, so it's like I need that balance. If you don't have that balance of fun, you know, having a lot of fun, what happens? You right? You can't be all work. If you're all work and you don't have any fun, regardless of what your idea of fun is, it's just not gonna work out. You're gonna crash and burn. And I think that, like, I never realized that, but I think that's like one huge thing for me, is just that having a day, I usually like to have a day where I just don't do anything, and I rarely get a full day where I don't do anything, but I don't know if that makes sense. That's the other thing, though, is how we talk about how we view productivity. And like I said, it all comes down to the hours, but that's like how we value people in our society is like, well, what do you do? What do you do? It's not who you are. What are your values? Are you a genuine human being? Do you promote positivity in the world? It's what do you do? That's a very common question you'll ask someone. What do you do? Oh, mine is Patrick. I'm a student. I do YouTube videos. What do you do? Oh, well, I'm a student too. I work at a marketing firm. That doesn't define you. It does not define you in the slightest. But that's just a very common question. What do you do? What do you do? How do you contribute? I don't know. Is that important? I guess. Definitely important. But it's not the most important thing, and it's just weird how that's kind of how we view it, right? It's like, okay, like, what do you do? It's just such a common question of the doing. It's not even about what you achieve, right? It's not even about what you achieve. It's what you do. Oh, I got up. It's like this huge ego thing of like, oh, of being productive is like, that's like where you should feel good about it. It's like, is that really true? I don't know. Excuse me. I really don't know if it's good to because like I said, I'm at a weird time where that's not really the standard, but I see that more so in the adult world is like you're valued based on what you do, where you stand in society, your job. Like, oh, he's a doctor, he's a lawyer. Really though, like at the end of the day, I don't think you should be valued so much for what you do. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, it's not about like maybe what you achieve, but we almost look at what you do rather than what have you done, right? Like what you do. Oh, I woke up at 6 a.m. today and I filed a report, and it's like, no, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm such a kid, and I feel like an old person though. You know what I mean? I'm just like rambling and ranting about people and all this stupid stuff. But yeah, I just feel like people value work too much. And like I said, I don't know, did I say this? I don't know, but like I said, I feel like I did say this at the start. I was like, the more I get where I want to be with my YouTube channel, the less I care about the financial benefit from it. Just so weird. It's like, it's like whatever. Like I don't care. For me, I think primarily I'm a YouTuber. And I think people look at me as like a zombies player or a gamer, and that's not really it. I found an outlet to be a YouTuber through zombies and through video games, but that's not my primary thing. My primary thing is I'm a YouTuber. I like creating content, and I've done that I've been doing this for 8 years now. Like I said, it's not about, for me, it's not about, necessarily what I'm doing, as so much as just I'm a YouTuber, right? I didn't get into like I said, I don't really look at myself as a zombies YouTuber, although I am 100%. I'm more just, I shouldn't say, I guess I am a zombie YouTuber. I don't look at myself so much as a zombies player, right? There's a lot of guys in the community who are so in love, absolutely 100% in love with zombies, and that's their main thing. Now, I freaking love zombies, and it's my favorite video game of all time, but I use that love for my real passion, which is making YouTube videos, right? The YouTube video process is number one for me, and I just happen to have a really big passion in a game that's popular. That's how I work as a YouTuber, and I think that you can kind of tell with people, because there's some people that get so deep into zombies, and like for me, it's just not my thing, and I'm not taking away from them. Like guys like Waffles, oh my God, Milo, he's just. I think I like zombies, and then I listen to Milo talk, and I'm like, I don't know 1% of what Milo knows. I think I know a lot about zombies, but like I said, it's like what, for me anyways, it's about the YouTube videos. It's not so much about the game, although it is about the game because that's the YouTube videos. It's a weird thing, but like I said, I like making YouTube videos. I like being a content creator. Now here's a weird idea, switching gears a little bit. I did a giveaway on my channel, and 4 people won. So I had to mail out these packages. I had to mail out these messages to these people, right? I don't know why I'm making this such a big deal. Yeah, okay, so let me redo this. I did a giveaway on my channel. I had to mail out packages to the giveaway winners. Copies of Black Ops 3. Boom. Do I have any more copies? I know I do. Don't lie to me, room. How do you lose something in a room that's like 4 feet by 3 feet? Anyways, there's another block. There's a disc. Other discs in my game. Anyways, I have a lot of copies of Black Ops 3, but that's not the point. The point is, I had to mail stuff out. And I realized I'm 20 years old and I've never mailed a thing in my life. And I was like, how do I mail something? So embarrassing, but it's true. I was like, all right, I got to mail this on my own the first time. So I'm like, all right, first step should probably go to the post office. So I'm like, I bring like my copies, I bring the people's things, and I get envelopes. It's like, all right, so I'm pretty sure what I'll do is I'll write the address, and I got to write the return. I gave it to him, but it was like this thing of like, how do I go about doing this? And just like realizing I don't know how to send a letter. Like, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but just realizing I don't know how to do that and I'm 20 years old was like, wow. School doesn't teach you anything. That was the other thing is like taxes with YouTube and stuff, and like, oh, it's like you gotta pay taxes, and it's like, how do I pay taxes? I don't know how to do this. Thanks, school. You're really helping me out. This summer, my friend, he got a flat tire. We were driving up the road. I don't know how to change a tire. I've never done it before. Thanks a lot, school. School doesn't teach you anything. School doesn't teach you anything. It's so ridiculous that they don't have any courses on how to be a human being, on how to live your everyday life. They just expect you to pick it up. But thank God I know how to calculate the area of a triangle, because that's what's really important in life, isn't it? You know. No, I saw this funny thing. It was like, how do you pay taxes? School. Worry not. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's like, yeah. I guess that's important. I guess knowing a little bit about how the world around you works, absolutely. I guess knowing some basic math is important. I guess knowing about the history of what happened in the world is important. But I also think that not being an idiot is important, but being a critical thinker. Why don't we have courses on that? Why don't we have courses on educating people? Now, this is where I could get super conspiracy and be like, well, if you have too much of an educated population, you can't spread propaganda as easily. And propaganda is a weird term because it sounds bad, but you know, propaganda is propaganda. Propaganda is any media that is used to make people believe something. That's what I'll really, you know, here, I'll find a definition on propaganda just so I'm not wrong. Propaganda definition: information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Right? So propaganda. The conspiracy version of me says, well, if we have educated people, propaganda is not easy it's not easy to spread propaganda, which means it's difficult to persuade your nation, which is very true. Like, I'm not like, that's actually, yeah, that actually is really true. Is like weapons of mass destruction. That's my favorite example that the US did. You know, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. We need to go into Iraq. Whatever the motives really were there, I don't know. I'm not a history guy. There weren't weapons of mass destruction. People knew there weren't well, some people knew. It's proven that they knew there wasn't. But you know, you use something like 9/11, which is this terrible thing, to kind of rally the troops a little bit, and then you can kind of, all right, well, this is why we need to go, and it's just propaganda. It just is like that's like governments do, and I'm not trying to sound conspiracy or anything, but it's like, it's a truth. You know what I mean? The other thing you have to think is like the media is a huge thing. God damn, I'm away for 3 weeks and I'm just getting deep with it, but the media is such a big thing. You don't even realize anything like 90% of anything you know is from the, when I say media, it's really weird because media is such a broad term, but everything is from the media, okay? So like, even if you have original ideas or you heard something from someone else gave you an idea, eventually at the root of everything is the media, because it's this information source that we use to figure things out, even if it's online articles and stuff, is the media. Just news companies and stuff. You get this information, and you tell someone else, and then they tell someone else, and then eventually it gets to you, and it's like, all right, here's this piece of information that this other human being has told me. Oh wait, it all connects back to this news source that has this, every single news source on the planet, for the most part, has a motive. They have a reason that they're spreading that article, and every news corporation is biased. 100%. Like, do people pay news people? Do people control the news so that they could spread their agenda? 100%. Like, the only piece of evidence you need is the difference between Fox News and CNN. Okay, both spread media, potentially propaganda. Yeah, absolutely. Because let's look at it like this way. Like Fox News, I remember seeing something about Fox News about like they always say like ice caps aren't melting and stuff. It's very right wing. It's very traditional. The ice caps aren't melting. Global warming isn't a thing. Are you sure? Because aren't ocean levels rising and stuff? Now maybe not, and maybe they're right. Maybe not. But there's another news thing which is saying it is. Okay, and at the end of it, I wouldn't be surprised if there's some motive. Like I think global warming is a thing, and at least at the end of the day, whether global warming is a thing or not, it doesn't matter. Don't we at least want to hedge our bets a bit? Like even if there's a 1% chance that global warming is a thing, okay, 1%, 99% chance it's not happening. We're all gonna be fine. We're all gonna just be Gucci. Even if there's a 1% chance that, what we're doing to the environment is messing it up, and I think it's way bigger than that. I know it's way bigger than that. You can't say it's not. Climate change is definitely a thing, and wouldn't you at least want to hedge your bets about being more environmentally friendly and doing things like that? Wouldn't you at least want to hedge your bets? All right, the world, if there's a 1% chance that the world could end because of something we're doing. Even if there's a 1% chance, wouldn't you want to be maybe we shouldn't do that? But the idea is no, global warming is not a thing. Don't worry about it, right? And I just feel at the end of that news thing, there's probably some company that has something to do with being bad for the environment, whether it's an oil company or some producer and whatever it is. I feel like every media outlet has an agenda. They have some sort of information to spread. And when you realize that, once you figure that out, you look at the news in a whole different way. It's not, we're spreading, just information. We're not I don't know. Is there such thing as an unbiased media source? I would say I'm probably I think everything's an unbiased and a biased media source. Everyone has a bias to some extent, but it's what agenda are you trying to say right now, right? Let's just go to a random. Let's just go to CNN right now. CNN. Breaking news, daily news. All right. So first thing, France strikes back. Explosive raid stops suspects just in time. Police say. So France strikes back. French authorities kill 2, detain 7 terror suspects in violent raids. So, there's a huge thing going on right now, is the things that happened in France. It's all right, now, I guess the motive of that is to let people know that, people are going after ISIS, which ISIS are a bunch of cunt bags, I think it's safe to say. But, just saying but out here, I'm just putting this out here, do ISIS have a genuine here's the thing, what is ISIS's motive? Okay, honestly, I really don't know, but what's the motive of most terrorists is they're mad at something. They're mad at oh shit, sorry about that. What I'm saying is what are ISIS's motives? Why are they doing this? And I think it's safe to say that they probably feel as though they have a genuine reason to do this, as though they've been attacked or something, or they just want to promote Islam. Is that ISIS actually? If I think that is it, isn't it? Is that what I'm saying? Is I'm sure in their eyes they have a very genuine, a very real reason why they're doing this. You know, the Nazis had a reason why they're doing this, and once you get this momentum, I feel like it's hard to stop it. Obviously, with the Nazis is this huge thing. Is like it's a mob mentality of that. You know, oh, we're doing this and we're taking over the world, and like, oh, everyone else is, so like most of us are gonna do it too. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not saying like I'm not trying to justify anything right now. I'm just trying to understand the process of, okay, why are you attacking people? I really don't know. I really don't know the motive of ISIS. I really don't know. Why? All right. Google. Why are ISIS... Why is ISIS doing this? Yeah. ISIS is a terrorist organization that exploited the socio-political circumstances for their own benefit. After U.S. and the Allies left Iraq, ISIS invaded part of the Iraq and chased away the Iraqi troops, pretty much at their own will to do whatever the hell they wanted, as there was no one to stop them. Their whereabouts are not unknown. In fact, they're... Okay. It's a political deadlock. U.S. left Iraq because Iraq asked it to. ISIS in Syria was... Okay, so that doesn't really answer my question. Why is ISIS doing this? I really don't... Wait, no, that's like a year ago. What ISIS really wants. I'm so like... Mindless terrorists. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. The truth about ISIS is much worse. I was going to say, I feel like they're not mindless terrorists. It's the first of the storms, says the Islamic State, and little wonder, for the chaotic scenes of the streets of Paris and the fearful reaction those attacks provoked are precisely what ISIS planned for and prayed for. The greater of the reaction against Muslim in Europe and the deeper the West becomes involved, military action in the Middle East, the happier ISIS leaders will be, because this is about the organization's key strategy: finding, creating, and managing chaos. There's a playbook, a manifesto, a tract written more than a decade ago under the name of Abu Bakr Naji for the Mesopotamian wing of Al-Qaeda that would become ISIS. Think of the honor of Paris and then consider these principal axioms. Oh, this is so deep stuff. It's a touchy subject too right now, but I don't know. Like I said, there's a reason why you do these things. You don't do them just because you feel like it. And a lot of it, I wonder, like I really wonder if people in that area, the reason why they choose to become terrorists is because, like, think about how many people are bombed, you know, how many innocent people are bombed. And I wonder if, you know, people go, wow, like, what the hell, you just bombed my family, I don't like you now. I think that's how terrorists are created, right? You know, like, I'm just gonna say the U.S. because, you know, I know they like a lot of drone strikes and stuff. So you think about the U.S. is like, okay, well, you know, these drone strikes and stuff, and a lot of them is killing innocent people. It's like, all right, well, when you kill that innocent person, you know, the family members are now going to be pretty pissed off at you for doing that, right? So I don't know. I think about it, and I think, like, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to get into the head. Like, why are they going about doing this? I feel like that would probably be a lot of it. You know, when someone kills your family member, then you're going to be pretty pissed off at whoever that country is. I guess, I don't know, is that the root of it? I really don't know. Like I said, I'm just trying to make sense of it all, because I personally don't understand the motives of ISIS. What are you trying to accomplish? Because killing people is not going to make it so that people want to, well, I mean, some people might want to join your cause, but, you know, killing people, you know, is not gonna work, obviously, because we're fucking them up right now, okay? But then the other thing I think about is just how shitty war is in general, because it's like, you know, ISIS attacked France. Now we're gonna attack them, right? So think about it. ISIS attacks France. You know, ISIS kills some people in France. Now France and most of the world, because we're pretty much all on France's side, I would hope so, most of those people are now against you. So then we're gonna attack you, and now we have ISIS. People hate ISIS more, and then we're gonna kill them, and then and then their people are gonna not like us, and you know, you're gonna kill people that are their family members, and then that's gonna make more people mad at the people that hit them, which is kind of all the world, right? So let's say you wipe out 100% of ISIS. You just drop a nuke you somehow, okay, let's say you somehow create a way, a bomb, a chemical that only kills people if they are a member of ISIS. Now, I don't think that'd be possible. What I'm saying is, if you're a member of ISIS, like if you support ISIS, you automatically just die randomly. Even if you were to do that and just completely wipe out ISIS, think about all the family members of those people that are now going to be pissed off. And then that's going to cause more bloodshed and bloodshed and bloodshed and bloodshed. And my thing is it never ends. It's never going to end, which is, again, why I say war is so shitty. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. And I probably sound like such a hippie right now, but you can't deny it. I saw the bombs that got dropped in ISIS, and it was like, from France with love. And I was like, that is so fucking badass. Like, let's go fuck those motherfuckers up. You don't fuck with France, okay? And it's awesome. You're on a side and you're like, fuck those guys, right? But at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, man, we're going to kill those people, and then that's going to upset them more because, they killed us, and then that might recruit more people on their side. And then they're probably going to do another attack sometime down the road, It happened 9/11. This happened in France. And then from here, what's going to happen? It doesn't end. War doesn't end, because at the end of the day, it's all these egos that we need to dissolve, because everyone's got this ego of, oh, you hit me, now I have to hit you. And then if everyone has that attitude, it's never going to end until we all kill ourselves. And like I said, I probably sound like the biggest hippie ever here. And I just want to clarify, people, when you talk about an idea from a perspective that is not the socially accepted idea of, I think the most straight up way to, if I wanted to be politically correct, I would say fuck ISIS and all this stuff. But when you even go at it from just a different perspective of me just wanting to understand the motives, and okay, these are human beings, because realistically at the end of the day, these are just human beings like me and you, just with very, very different view sets. But even to suggest that, just to say, back up from it a second and be like, okay, like, what's their motives, and just look at them as a rational human being. Once you even consider an alternative, right? It's not even if you accept it or believe it, but if you're just thinking in a way that is not like the social norm, people are going to be like, well, what the hell? Why? I guarantee you that speech I had at the start, someone's going to make a comment on that, or someone's going to be like, wow, like, why is he thinking this way? He should just be like, fuck ISIS, And I'm in a pretty big spot as a YouTuber that's like, I've got a viewpoint, and I could be politically correct, but I like to say no. Like, let's look at this from a different viewpoint. Why are these things happening? What is the outcome of war? What is it good for? And at the end of the day, like I said, I think the only thing you can come about it is it's just going to kill more people. It's just going to kill more people. But at the other side, if you don't retaliate against ISIS, what's going to happen? Are they just going to keep going at people? So again, it's not a cultural thing. It's not a country thing. It's an international, whole planet thing that people need to, everybody needs to kind of like say, all right, let's think about this. You're white, I'm brown. You're from a different country, I'm from a different country. You have blue eyes, I have green eyes. Doesn't matter here. Okay, we have different cultures, we look different, we talk differently, we can't communicate. Doesn't matter. There's 7 billion people on this planet. We're all human beings at the end of the day. I am just the same as you, as the same as a member of ISIS, okay? Straight up. Biologically, we're all the same. We're all here. So why can't we all just be team human? Why does it have to be, oh, this is my side and this is your side? Why can't we just be team human? That's the thing, is you get divided and we're teams and stuff, but why can't we just all be team people? Do you know what I mean? It's like with feminism. Like, I think most people that don't consider themselves to be a feminist, I think most people aren't against women. I don't know anyone that's like, yeah, fuck women, they should have less rights than you. Have you ever heard anyone say that ever? I don't think so. But it's like when you have this idea of feminism, which is such a touchy topic, I don't even like talking about it because I'm just going to be identified as a misogynist and stuff. It's like, well, no, I'm not. It's just, why can't we just all be team human? Why can't we just be against shitty people? Because at the end of the day, that's the problem, okay? It's not, it's not, we need feminism to be against, because men, it's, or women or whatever. It's shitty people. Stupid people. That's at the end of the day. That's what it's all about. It's just the problem is stupid people. We've got people who are outraged. Oh, that's really offensive. This is really offensive. You shouldn't say that. I heard someone today. Someone used the word gay in a way that implies something to be negative. So they implied a negative connotation to the word gay. Now, I don't really agree with that. I think that's kind of a rude thing to do. But this guy says you shouldn't say that because that would offend a lot of people. Did it offend you? I even asked him. I was like, are you gay? He's like, no. I'm like, well, why do you care? He's like, well, it's offensive. But I'm like, not to you. You're not gay. It doesn't matter. Okay? Like, you know, I have people in my family who are gay. I heard someone say gay. I'm like, whatever. Like, I've got bigger things to worry about than you using a word wrongly or applying a word with a negative connotation. God damn, this is going to be a controversial ass podcast, but I love it. I love it. So I like to just talk about ideas, okay? Like I said, like it's even if I'm talking about something, it doesn't mean I agree with it. I just like to explore ideas, right? And that's what this whole podcast is about, is about thinking critically and about thinking about things in a bigger way that is to what you know, okay? But anyways, like I said, you know, someone said, like, they use gay, and they said, oh, that's really gay. I was like, well, it's not really gay when you think about it. It's not gay in the sense of two dudes having sex together. But what she was doing is applying it to a negative connotation, as I said. Anyways, if you bring it all back, this guy, he's like, that's offensive. And I'm here like, well, it's not offensive to you. Why do you care, right? And then you say, oh, well, you know, I know someone's whatever. Being offended doesn't matter. And I like that there's finally a push against all these people who are offended. These outraged. I'm outraged that you would say something offensive. Suck it up, okay? The world is not a safe space, and I finally love that this push against universities. This push against universities that Yale did. There was this what Yale did is they said, we're not going to censor people who wear offensive costumes. So it's like, you could wear a KKK suit, you could be a Nazi. We're not going to censor it. Now, I'm sure to maybe some extent they would, but, you know, they basically said, we're not going to censor. You know, if you're wearing something like a shitty thing, we're not going to say, no, you can't wear that. So a lot of people got outraged, and they said, well, that's offensive. You know, you don't care. You're not making this a safe space for me. You're not making this, you're not making me feel comfortable. I don't feel safe because someone else might wear something, you know, I'm black and this person might wear a KKK, which is awful. It's fucking awful. Why would you wear a KKK suit as, you know what I mean? But the thing is, and the point that they were trying to make is you cannot censor someone just because you feel that it's offensive. If I say something that's offensive to you, you cannot censor me, because that's a basic free speech right. And that's the thing we need to think about, is you can't censor things just because you deem it as offensive. Because, well, what's offensive? Well, how do you define something as offensive? Well, it's offensive to me personally. Okay, well, if that was the case, if you could say, you know what, that's offensive, you're not allowed to say it, then pretty much everything in the world you wouldn't be allowed to say, because you're going to offend someone about everything. I like pie. Okay, maybe not, but you know what I mean? I think pie is a pretty straightforward thing. But like I said, you know, you cannot censor someone just because it's offensive. It's a basic free speech right, and regardless of what that person has to say, they are allowed to say it. Now, yes, they're probably a dickbag for saying something, I don't know, or wearing like an ISIS costume to a Halloween party. But what I'm saying is you can't censor that. And that was the point. And like I said, universities is the biggest one. They're so like left-wing and don't want to make anyone offended or anything. It's so evident here. When I came to school this semester, I did this stuff, and it's like, you know, we're not allowed to call the students frosh this year, because it was literally because it might offend someone. It has the word frosh has a negative connotation, and it might exclude people. And we weren't allowed to give them nicknames. We weren't allowed to give the new students nicknames because it might offend them. It might exclude them or put them in a situation where they don't feel comfortable. And at the time, I'm like, that's stupid. I didn't really think about it. That is so stupid. It might offend them. It might hurt their feelings. Yeah, that's the world, okay? The world is not nice people. I get told I'm a fuckhead probably 10 times a day. But that's just the world. There's people in this world that are going to be rude. And when you try to make everything safe, you try to bubble wrap everything, eventually you're going to wind up in a world with a whole lot of people who just can't go about experiencing anything that is against them. Do you know what I mean? And you find these people that, to them, it's like it's like, if you have an opinion that disagrees with me, it's like you're not cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't like you. It's like I heard a guy, he said like, yeah, you know, this guy, like, he's always like, you know, like, I don't like these two guys, they didn't agree with someone. One guy's very right wing, the other's very left wing. And the right wing guy was talking about the left wing guy, and actually we were talking about this idea of offensive, and the guy says, yeah, like, I feel like he would be so against this topic. And I'm like, no, he's actually like, he doesn't like how the world is so up, like, about, like, you know, not offending anybody. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess he's cool about that. And it's like, wait, let's pause here. What you're doing right now is you're saying, oh, he's cool now because he shares the same idea as you, right? He shares the same idea as you, so therefore he's cool. But because he doesn't line up on you with some other topics, you don't like him for that. And it's really dangerous when you surround yourself with like-minded people all the time. Now, obviously, I think surrounding yourself with positive people that maybe have the same goals, that's very important. But when you get into a group of we all share the same values on taxes or human rights or feminism, whatever, when you get into that kind of group where, yeah, we're all right, and all those other guys, I can't believe they can't think like this, us, that's really dangerous, because at that point you stop thinking critically. You stop getting to a point where, oh, maybe someone else is right. Okay, how many times have you thought something and found out you're completely wrong? It happens a lot, whether you're willing to admit it or not. And to me, it's really dangerous, I think, to surround yourself with people that all think the exact same as you. I think that's really, really dangerous. And like I said, this guy who said, oh, well, he's actually cool about this topic. It's like, no, he just shares the same idea, so therefore you like him because of that. Okay, you like this, you know, we both like this. Oh, well, we're both right. Yeah. No, maybe not. Maybe you're both wrong. But like I'm saying, is to dismiss someone just because they don't have the same idea as you is really, really dangerous, because then you stop thinking, and that's what it's all about, is just thinking critically. This is what happens when I don't do a podcast for a month. I get all these ideas built up in my head, and it just all comes out in one episode. And like, this has probably been, I don't know if I want to say the most controversial episode I've ever done, but I've definitely said some things that are gonna, I don't know, I don't think I've said anything you know what, I've definitely said something in this podcast that would offend at least one person. If I offended you, you can go feck off. But no, seriously, that means F off. But seriously, like I said, being offended doesn't accomplish anything. If you don't like someone's opinion, you just shouldn't be around them, because if you feel as though they're negative to you. But just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean you should automatically dismiss them, because they may have a very good perspective on things that can broaden your perspective on life. Okay? So don't be offended. Being offended doesn't mean anything. Expand your minds. Boom. SmithSquad Podcast, episode whatever. I gotta start doing these more, because if this is gonna be I mean, this was great. I love talking about this stuff, and it's so nice to just talk and just about everything. But like I said, that's that. Alright, I'm done. I gotta go study. Time managed. Wow. I'm just in awe. That was cool. Anyways, I gotta go study. Peace out, you nerds. Don't be all right, so this is the wrap up. We're gonna summarize. Manage your time efficiently. Doesn't matter about how many hours you put into something. It's about what you do in the hours that you have allocated towards that thing. 2, being offended does not do anything, and you cannot censor people based on whether it offends you. For basic free speech right. ISIS is bad, but I'm still unsure of their motives. Actually, can I just comment on that one thing? Is the only person you'd hear ISIS's motives from is, well, I guess ISIS says, oh, we want to make the world Islam. I don't know. I don't want to talk about ISIS. Anyways, at the end of the day, I've said this before. I've said this a million times now. Just don't be a cunt. That's all you got to do in life. It's the CUNT word. I don't use that a lot, but that's the number one rule of life. Is just don't be a bad person. Just as long as you're not making anyone else's experience on this planet worse, you've done your job. That's all you need to do. Campfire rule. Just don't make the world a worse place. ISIS is not following that rule, so therefore they are CUNTs. Like I said, it's such a sharp word. You can't use it a lot. Anyways, guys, gonna end it there. Peace and love if you're still here. I hope I didn't offend you, but if I did, maybe at least you can see my perspective on things and broaden your mind. Anyways, like I said, I gotta go. Bye, guys. Thanks so much for watching. That was SmithSquad Podcast episode something. I think 73 or 74. Use coupon code BLACK at gfuel.com as well as Gamma Gamers, I want to say. I think it's their Gamma Gamers site. Anyways, if you buy a tub at G Fuel, use coupon code BLACK. You'll get a free black shaker cup as well as a 30% discount, which is going to total probably $25 plus tax and shipping, which is pretty friggin' cheap considering how much G Fuel lasts. I've had this tub since the summer. My favorite stuff. I almost drink it quite a bit. I've still got quite a bit in there. Friggin' love it. Look at that as it miss. Anyways, bye guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, I love you. You're top 1%. You're a beauty. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. Deuces. Also, let me know who you want to have on the podcast. List anyone. They could have 10 million subscribers and I'll go contact them. Probably not. But anyways, I gotta go. Bye.